Hello, I'm Jared Polin and welcome to ProPhoto101.com. Today I want to talk a little bit about, Today I'd like to go over some of the lenses that, today I want to talk a little bit about some of the lenses that I go around with.
Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and that was a painful video, and I'll explain more about that video in just a minute. But guess what? We did it. We finally hit 1 million subscribers, and I have all of you to thank for that. Whether you've been a long-time subscriber or you just subscribed today, without your support, I would not be sitting here. In celebration of hitting the 1 million subscriber mark, I thought it would be fun to take a look back at some of the most memorable moments of FroKnowsPhoto. So what's the story behind that video, and why do I continue to share it? Well, it's simple. At the beginning, another photographer friend and I had an idea to create a photography website called ProPhoto 101 with the idea that we would do something. And what that something ended up being actually never materialized. But what did happen was me sitting in my basement where I made a test video about all my Nikon gear, and I failed repeatedly for 10 minutes straight. Clearly at that time I wasn't cut out to be in front of the camera. But the one thing that I noticed about that video when I look back on it is you can kind of see the future me in there somewhere. I'm there. It was just gonna take a few more years for that guy that was hiding in there to actually break out. Now, the reason I show that video before I speak to groups is I want them to understand that I was once that guy. A guy who could not put 5 words in a row together before stopping. A guy that failed miserably in front of the camera. A guy who had no online following. The point is, I started as that guy with 0 followers, and today I've published over 3,000 videos and just passed the 1 million subscriber mark. If I was able to go from that awkward on-camera guy to this whatever this is, I think you guys could probably do it as well. So where did FroKnowsPhoto come from? Well, back in 2009, 2010, I was toying around with sharing videos under my own name, Jared Polin. One of the reasons I started making photography-related videos is I didn't like the information other people were putting out on YouTube. So instead of telling them that they sucked in the comments, I decided to give it a go myself. At that time, I had just gotten the first 27-inch iMac with iMovie, and I had a D3S that let me do 5 minutes of video before stopping. This is the first real time that I actually sat down and recorded a real piece of video with the D3S. The funny thing about my early videos is they're all straight through with no edits, and they're all 5 minutes or less. Now, if you're wondering why weren't there any edits, it's simple. I didn't know how to edit, and Steven would tell you today I still don't know how to edit. Even though my videos weren't perfect at that time, I still think they resonated with a lot of people. So as it got closer to 2010, I felt it was time to start to create a brand that wasn't just my name, Jared Polin. I wanted something catchy and more memorable.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV.
Around that time, I was following somebody by the name of Gary V, who in his videos emphasized his last name, which was Vaynerchuk, and I used that as my guide.
I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk.
What I liked about the Vaynerchuk intro that he had was that it was 3 syllables. So I started to try to come up with one of my own.
Hello everybody, this is Jared Polin for JaredPolin.com. Soon to be another thing which I'll let you know about soon.
And then bam, FroKnowsPhoto. I typed it into a web browser to see if it existed. It didn't, so I bought it.
It's called thefroknowsphoto.com.
Oh yeah, and I also bought the FroKnowsPhoto, but thankfully Justin Timberlake told me to drop the. It's clear. On June 1st, 2010, FroKnowsPhoto officially launched to much fanfare, and by fanfare, I mean a couple of people stopped by on the first day.
Welcome to FroKnowsPhoto.com. I am Jared Polin. I built this site for all of us to get better as photographers.
Now here's how it worked. I'd wake up in the morning, come up with an idea, film it, quickly edit it, post it, go to lunch, and then repeat that process before dinner. Yep, I posted 2 videos a day for a while. And every night I would spend hours commenting back to everybody's comment on YouTube and answering every single email that came in. A lot of my early success came from replying to the comments that were on my videos, but I also was able to find new followers when I would comment on other people's YouTube videos. Why do I think my videos resonated with people right away? One of the reasons was, at the time, most photo videos online were super dry and boring, and here comes this guy with an afro who is the complete opposite. Not boring. I don't think I was that loud though at that time.
Jared Polin.
Some of the things I used to do in those early videos were incorporate stuffed animals into them for no reason. Awesome, right? Or Kermit the Frog. I would do weird intros like tackling a mannequin at the very start of a video.
Are you gonna cooperate?
I would run and jump and sometimes do round-offs because I couldn't do back handsprings. I would run around the backyard with Star Wars toys, or even sit next to a mannequin of Ken Rockwell. Now, the idea was that weird would sell, and it did.
You've never seen a guy wear an outfit like this before?
Speaking of weird, I started sniffing gear, aka the sniff test, at Alan's camera. Now, why would I start sniffing things? Well, remember Gary Vee? He used to sniff wine and associate it with weird things.
Let's give it a sniffy whippy.
So I borrowed that for my photo gear.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it smells like. It smells like don't buy it.
Hi, this is Alan from Alan's Camera, and you are watching The Fro.
I owe so much of my success to Alan's willingness to allow me to test, review, and sniff new gear in his store. Without his help, I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
No, I get to open the first one.
Let's talk about my now famous, loved by some and hated by others, intro. Now what's funny about my intro is it used to say FroKnowsPhoto.
FroKnowsPhoto.com.
That's right, photo, because that's how we say it in Philly.
And these guys teach you to talk like that.
But I realized people might not understand what photo actually is, and that's when I worked hard to enunciate photo properly. FroKnowsPhoto.com. And over the years, I went from just saying it normally to what it is today.
This is Jared Polin.
Jared Polin here.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin. This is Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
Jared Polin.
FroKnowsPhoto. FroKnowsPhoto. FroKnowsPhoto.
FroKnowsPhoto.
Photo.
FroKnowsPhoto. FroKnowsPhoto.
FroKnows.
Photo.
FroKnowsPhoto.com. I know some of you have been following me for a while, but not many of you have been around since the early days when I would release a new Lil video once a week.
My name is Lillian, and I shoot raw.
Now Lil, for those of you who don't know, is my grandmother who lived to be 1 week shy of 104 years old. Now around her 99th birthday, we started making videos together.
You better get a haircut.
I want a haircut.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Get a nice haircut.
Basically, they were videos where we talked about one topic and saw where it took us. I love looking back at those older videos with Lil because they bring back such great memories. Now this video, it wouldn't have been complete without mentioning Lil.
Thank you, dear, and I wish you the following, the best of everything in life that can give.
I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah.
Growing and moving out. Around 2012, I made the decision to try and find a loft in Philly. Welcome to my loft. And what I found was this sweet 2,600 square foot place with a freaking stage in the kitchen. Yeah, an actual stage. It used to be a Polish burlesque house or something.
Oh, shit.
Finally, having one place to live and work really set me on the path to taking the brand to the next level. At that time, YouTube was not exactly a hobby and it wasn't exactly a full-time career. I was making some money with it, but now that I moved out, now I was able to focus full-time on making it into a business. But keep in mind, I was still doing all the shooting and editing of all my own videos. And yes, I'm aware that the quality wasn't exactly the best, but that was about to change in the years to come. It was in that loft that I finished filming the FroKnowsPhoto Guide to Getting Out of Auto, which would become the first educational guide that I would ever offer for sale. Now, creating that guide was certainly not an easy task, but thankfully I met Todd on Craigslist, who produced, filmed, and edited the entire first guide. Another thing that started at the loft was Raw Talk. There's now a podcast called FroKnowsPhoto Raw Talk. I had to think about it because we just came up with the name. Now the idea was simple: bring in different photographers and creatives and interview them along with my sidekick at the time, Leora. Now the first few episodes, they were actually audio only, but I knew I wanted to add a camera and film them because we had all of these people watching on YouTube. Now sadly, or maybe fortunately, at the end of 1 year, the landlords didn't renew my lease. That's right, I am moving. This is a good thing. This isn't a bad thing. It's time to move on. And that's when I bought the loft. Here with a 5-minute portrait from my new loft. That's not only where I would live, but I also turned it into my studio for the next 4 years. Enter Steven. Now I met Steven in the photo pit at a concert, and one thing led to another, and he told me that he watches my videos and he thinks he could do a better job with my audio. So I gave him a shot. As a test, I had him come over to the loft to record the audio for Raw Talk. And after doing a great job on his first episode, I hired him to come in each and every week to record the show. At that point, Steven wasn't on the camera yet, but I invited him on to do the photo news, and then I would kick him off to go do the audio engineering, and then basically he ended up on the show full time, and also he edited all of the shows. As the weeks went by, the show started to evolve, and we went from no cameras to using multiple DSLRs to film the podcast. Trey Ratcliffe is here in the United States. Enjoy this interview with Gary Fong, the Modest Yahoo interview, the interview with Shane Hurlbut. Danny, thank you for taking the time. That we did with Joey L. up in his studio. Earlier we sat down with Cliff Mountner. So I've got Adam Elmakias, the Scott Kelby interview. Here is the interview with Ben Folds. After about a year of working part-time, Steven came on board as a full-time employee, and that's where my content started to shift. He started helping me film and edit more and more of my videos, and of course it took many more years for things to evolve, but it was definitely a great start. So let's see how it handles in the real world. We then introduced real-world reviews into the mix, as well as tested many other different formats, which some worked and some didn't work. You could see the shift in quality as soon as Steven started helping me shoot and edit my videos. Over the next 5 years, we would create hundreds of new videos, from reviews to critiques to 5-minute portraits, and of course, Postman Froze. Over those 5 years, 3 more educational guides were created and released. The funny thing is, the loft is and was my home at that time, but it felt more like a film studio than a home since lights were always set up. It was literally a studio that I slept at. It started to become clear that in order to evolve and grow FroKnowsPhoto into a bigger brand, we had to not only evolve the content, but find a place to call home. So in 2017, I started the search for a building in Philly that would be dedicated space for just creating. That's when I found what would become known as the Fro Factory, with the. That's where I'm sitting right now, and this is where we create the majority of our videos for FroKnowsPhoto. In that same year, I went on to hire Dan as another editor so that we could pump out even more content. Having a dedicated space to create, as well as adding another editor into the mix, certainly helped further the brand even more. We were dedicated to making videos every single day, so we had to have a proper workflow. How about this new set? One of the things that helped us put out more content was having the ability to create different static sets. Whether we're unboxing a camera at the store set, recording the podcast on the Raw Talk set, filming a Q&A video, reviewing images or critiquing websites at my desk, filming talking head stand-ups for our real-world reviews, or doing the fix right here on this set. We have it all pre-lit and ready to go. Did I ever think I would own something like this when I started back in 2010? No, not really. Did I ever think I would have 2 dedicated full-time employees? No. Did I ever think I would hit 1 million subscribers? No again. And honestly, I was pretty excited when I hit my first 1,000 and then 10,000. I'm actually more thankful than excited to have reached 1 million subscribers. I'm thankful to the 1 million people who chose to physically take action and click that subscribe button. Think about it, 1 million freaking people. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for helping me reach this massive number. Without you and your dedication, I would not be sitting here today in my very own space. Remember, I was once that yellow shirt wearing guy who failed continuously for 10 minutes straight back in 2008. And here I sit 3,000 videos later at the Fro Factory. I'm playing the long game, and I hope you guys stick around to see where the future takes us. And again, thank you very much for your continued support. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.
Oh, stand up. Stay. Are you gonna cooperate? Stay. Jared Polin.